Smoky toast, I'm afraid. The last of the anthracite. Down to the dust now.
Diana, what is this?
Oh, parfait.
Parfait?
Coffee substitute made from parsnips.
I must say, it does add a new dimension to the concept of total war.
You can still get coffee beans if you're prepared to pay.
How much?
About 15 guineas a half pound.
You know, suddenly I quite like the taste of this.
Toast?
Really good.
I'll use it this evening. Cut into strips with slices of egg on top. Austerity canapé.
Oh, my God, I'd quite forgotten.
If you say anything...
No, I won't.
Though it is very odd, I'll admit.
What is?
The tea, darling.
By Jove, it is.
We haven't had it before.
I'm not surprised.
Daddy.
5 and 4pence a pound, made by the Special Aid Society.
Did you say tea?
Finest hetero blend.
Not the dreaded rubus fracticosus.
Blackberry leaf tea is supposed to be good for you.
I'm well aware that my medieval colleagues esteemed it highly for piles, dysentery and diarrhea, which is not to say I like it for breakfast.
Think of all those awful things you're not going to get. Dr. Martel's house. It's the Germans.
Thanks. Dr. Martel. What about? What? But, no, they can wait, can't they? Surely I've got surgery. All right. 10:30. Bicycles.
Well, what are they wasting your time for?
Darling, I really don't know. I'll find out when I get there.
So inconsiderate.
Well, they're inconsiderate people, aren't they? Thanks. Did you want a lift to the hospital? Shall I go that way?
Are you driving?
Well, it's official business, isn't it? They want to see me, they can jolly well supply the petrol.
Do you know I haven't been in a car for over a year?
Well, don't let it go to your head.
I suppose we can't use it tonight, can we?
All right.
The Pridos.
Damn it, do we have to go?
But don't you want to go?
Surely you wouldn't want to disappoint Diana.
Well, I never know how to deal with that woman.
Really? We would never have known.
No. You can always hide behind James if the place gets too hot.
Oh, thanks very much. What are we going for anyway?
Well, Diana's got this idea about setting up a theatre company to do plays and things.
But why us?
Oh, I should think she's got you marked down for leading man.
Really?
More like the aged retainer, I should think.
You can jolly well walk to work.
Largely chicory, I should guess, but then I dare say caffeine is overly stimulating for sedentary figures such as we are.
Touching the matter of exercise, I have Dr. Martel coming in.
Well, have you no confidence in our own medical opinion?
The exercise I speak of is for the troops, not me. It's bicycles I'm after. I've a mind to increase mobility and save on motor spirit by instituting bicycle patrols.
Well, that should certainly provide opportunity for exercise, but why Dr. Martel?
I need 150 machines.
Do you indeed, that many?
Now, their controlling committee will undoubtedly demur and object that they can't possibly select.
Undoubtedly.
But I shall forestall such an excuse by suggesting the selection be made on medical grounds. Those who are hale and hearty can give up their bicycles and walk.
Ernst, you are a chess player.
What's happening? Come on, move! Get back! Get back! Come on, move back! Get back! Come on! Come on, then! Come on, move!
I hope you're not going to hang about all day. James.
Sorry?
You know, you really ought to do something.
Well, I rather thought I'd give myself the day off.
From what?
Or rather, not actually give myself the day off so much as take time out for a little research.
Are you going to spend the rest of your life like this?
I don't know what you mean.
Of course you do. You know very well what I mean. You know, you ought to get out and do something.
My time is fully taken up with my writing,
All
and
right,
in addition to that...
leave it. I shouldn't have spoken. I knew it was a mistake before I opened my mouth. Oh, if you're going into town, see if there's any wine.
What kind?
As long as it's pressed from the grape, buy it.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is he. What can I do for you? Very well, if I must.
Who was it?
The Germans want to see me.
But there is nothing here to tell me who is the subject of your investigation.
No, Herr Commandant.
Who instigated this inquiry, Reinecker?
The Geheime Staatspolizei, sir.
Now, you listen to me. SS or no SS, you are a serving officer of the Wehrmacht. If you were to embarrass Army High Command by doing the Gestapo's dirty work, you'd be disowned.
I hardly think my inquiries would provoke that much interest, sir.
You're being disingenuous. Deliberately, I think. You're well enough thought of in high places, otherwise you wouldn't be where you are. But in this matter, you serve two masters. Can you please them both?
With respect, Herr Major, that is not the case. I am merely under orders to pursue a line of inquiry. I fail to see why it should be an issue with Army Group.
Pursue your line of inquiry, Herr Hauptmann. Damn the SS. And damn its separate command structure.
Dieter, there isn't a Wehrmacht officer alive who doesn't look with disfavor on the SS, but if you'll allow me to say so, criticism of them...
Do you know that there are now over 250,000 of them, and every single one answerable to Himmler?
Who, in turn, answers to the Fuhrer, as do all of us.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ernst. I hadn't meant to embarrass you.
You're not embarrassing me. I'm just trying to prevent you embarrassing yourself.
What is this damned line of inquiry of his? Come in.
Dr. Martel, Herr Meyer.
Show him in.
This way, Dr. Martel.
Sit down, please.
Good morning, Major.
Will you have some coffee, Doctor? Not the most elegant cup, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Now, what is this about bicycles?
If you'll excuse me, I have some inspections to make.
Dr. Martel, the German forces must have increased mobility. We require 150 machines in good order. Here is the official requisition.
Yes, but, why me?
You are the appointed member to deal with medical matters.
Well, I'm glad you acknowledged that, Major, because I have something of the utmost importance I wish to bring to your attention.
We shall first deal with this matter, if you please.
Oops! Oh. Peter.
You get many patients that way?
Have you come to see someone here?
Yes. The assistant to the almoner, you know, the one with the big brown eyes.
Come in.
Look, Diana Prideaux's soiree. You going?
Yes, but Daddy's not over keen.
Huh? I think the idea of a theatre group's jolly good one.
Well, he's a bit leery of Lady P.
Why? Does he think she might be after him?
And why not?
Oh, come on, she's like that with all the men.
Well, I don't agree. Daddy's very attractive.
You sound as though you might quite like her to be.
Oh, Peter, really?
Well, I suppose every daughter must get some satisfaction out of the idea that there's a life in the old dog yet.
Well, I'll tell him that. I'll tell him you called him an old dog. Are you bringing your mother?
No, she's got the vicar coming to see her.
Is she all right?
Yes, fits the fiddle. Oh, I see, no. No, the vicar's coming about some scheme to reclaim wool from old clothes and reknit them into clothes for children, you know. Waste not, want not.
How are you getting there?
Shank's pony. I tell you, if this war goes on much longer, you'll have to be reshod.
It's a pity you feel as you do. It had seemed to us the civilized way.
Civilized? Taking people's personal possessions? When was theft civilized?
We have no wish to cause unnecessary hardship, which is why we are referring the matter to you.
No, I'm sorry, Major. You can do your own dirty work.
Very well. Then we shall just take the first 150 bicycles we see, regardless of personal circumstances.
How long?
1 week, Dr. Martel. Now, you have something you wish to bring to my notice.
Yes, you have some forced labor gangs.
We have some foreign workers. They are not British nationals and therefore do not concern me.
They concern me very much. The fact is...
they are foreign and criminals. They are not within your jurisdiction.
No, but typhus is.
I'm honored that I should seem to be of such interest.
Could think of some reason for this, perhaps?
I can think of no reason.
Sir James. It's an inherited title?
No, the KBE is for lifetime only.
KBE.
Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire.
Ah. This title was bestowed for some particular service?
Oh, not for any particular service.
For reasons of general service to the state?
Exactly so. Thank you.
Your career was with the Corps Diplomatique until your retirement.
Oh, I must correct you there, Herr Hartmann. I was in the consular service, not the diplomatic service. My field was trade and industry as distinct from diplomacy.
That would explain it.
Explain what?
Your close and extensive ties with businessmen.
It would, yes. May I ask where all this is leading us?
Oh, we'll come to it. By and by. You were appointed to the Baltic States.
You are asking me or telling me?
I'm not playing a game, Sir James. We have certain information. I seek confirmation.
I did serve in the Baltic States, yes.
With which ones were you principally concerned?
Oh, Latvia mostly, Estonia a little, Lithuania hardly at all. Why?
And you were based in Latvia?
I had an office in the legation in Riga.
I'm sure you have a very good memory, Sir James.
I have a grand memory for forgetting.
Excuse me?
Something said by Robert Louis Stevenson.
Try and remember the first week of February, 1935.
Dear chap, that is almost 7 years ago.
You have a bland manner, Sir James. I believe it conceals a very sharp mind, as I think you intended to.
Well, perhaps you would do me the kindness to prompt my defective memory.
Of course. Early in November 1934, you rented from a local family a dacha on the Gulf of Riga.
For picnics.
On the ice?
Well, it was sometimes nice to get out and walk along the sands, even in winter.
Did you meet people?
Well, I am, by nature, sociable.
One man in particular, a German, from Königsberg in East Prussia that first week of February nearly 7 years ago. Traveled up through Lithuania to Riga.
Really?
He stayed for one night in the Petersburg Hotel in Riga, then came by hired car to your dacha.
Well, obviously, I was not there when he called.
Oh, come now, Sir James. The man came by appointment to see you. This much we know. Also, though he did not know it and took elaborate precautions to avoid it, the man was followed to your little wooden home in the pines.
Oh, what precisely are you asking me?
Who that man was?
You know the hotel in which he stayed in Riga? Check the register. I mean, why concern yourself with me?
Oh, don't play games. It's unworthy of a man of your caliber. The Geheime Staatspolizei have, of course, checked the register. The name, of course, was false.
And the other man, the one who followed?
Died. Belated the same day. In a motor accident on the outskirts of Riga.
You are not, I hope, Herr Hartmann, suggesting that I was implicated in any way?
Quite recently. Very recently. The man who was implicated had the misfortune to fall into the hands of the Gestapo. He was able to reveal a certain amount, but not enough before he... And that is why I must pursue the matter with you.
I hope, Hartmann Reinecke, that this offensive interview is at an end.
It is not. Sit down. I must ask you formally the name of the man from Königsberg.
Sir, you have no right to pursue this matter with me. I have broken no law or regulation of the occupying power. General Richthofen guaranteed the lives, property, and liberty of all peaceful inhabitants. And I am entitled to rely on that promise. Unless, of course, you do not propose to honor the word of one of your senior commanders.
Your taunt is both unnecessary and undeserved. Now, please, the question.
I refuse to answer the question, and I trust that I shall hear no more of this matter.
Be sure, Sir James, that you will.
Do you have to write up your clinical notes in the kitchen?
Sorry, dearest. Am I in your way?
Yes.
Well, it's so darn cold in the consulting room.
Well, I'm sure it wouldn't matter if you lit your gas fire a little earlier.
No, not before surgery. Anyway, I'm in the hospital all the afternoon. What you making?
Haricot pie.
Yeah? 3/4 pound of brown haricots, 2 cups of mashed potatoes, 2 onions, parsley, margarine, pepper and salt, 1 egg. Sounds positively Lucullan.
Hello, Claire.
Oh, Curly, what you got there?
Peter's given us some eggs.
Oh, marvellous. Stick 'em in the haricot pie.
And there's a French bird in from Somalia with some wine.
I say. Muscadet. You're not sticking that in the haricot pie.
Oh, Philip, you stop it. Enough is enough.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's just that when you spend hours trying to get even the smallest thing and then you come in and...
I'm sorry. I was just trying to be flippant.
Well, actually, I thought we might take the wine to the Pridos.
What, share it round?
Well, it's a good idea.
Yes, Peter's coming.
Thank goodness for another man.
Oh, really, Philip, you talk as if the poor woman was a man-eater.
Daddy fears he may stimulate her gastric juices.
I don't think that's a very nice thing to say.
No. Sorry. What do the Germans want?
150 bicycles.
Oh, well, they'll be lucky you can't buy one for £50.
Well, either we get them and get a reasonable price for them, or the Germans are going to take the first ones they come across.
Is the committee going to do it?
I think we have no choice.
Well, the people will love you.
Well, there you are.
Well, I hope you're not going to start with mine. I need it.
I don't think they need ladies' models. Anyway, they've got more immediate problems on their plate at the moment. There's a rumour of typhus in the Labour camps.
Well, you didn't tell me that.
No, I know. I only bumped into old Parsons this morning.
Yes, but you know old Parsons. Is there any truth in it?
It's difficult to say. I taxed the Felt Commandant about it, but he wasn't too eager to talk about it. Not surprising in view of what it used to be called.
What?
Jail fever.
These ought to do. If they come searching for you, I'll try to send them away. If they want to look in here, I'll... Oh, Jan. Oh, you haven't dried your hair. Oh.
You remember that last night? Dinner at Dr. Schwarz's restaurant.
Breakfast at the railway station.
Christmas 1934. I never went back to Riga.
We left at Easter.
Did James...
No. No, he never found out. We went to Brussels, our last posting. When war broke out, we came here. James decided to retire. It was the wrong decision on several counts.
I'm sorry it was such a shock for you.
It was silly of me. I don't normally behave like that. What did you think when you saw me standing there?
I couldn't believe my eyes.
I never believed in fate till now.
Good morning, aunts. Have you got your bicycles?
We shall.
Of course you will. Martel is a reasonable man.
They all are. It makes one's job so much more
No,
difficult.
would you prefer the jackboot?
No. Anyway, even brute force must give way to persuasion sometime.
No, why haven't we thought of that before? Thank you.
Martel came to tell us something.
But the tide of war is turning against us, as he tells me so often.
No, it's serious.
So would that be, don't you think?
There's typhus among the tote workers.
Martel told you this?
He's heard a rumor. One of the civilian supervisors is billeted on an acquaintance of his.
Is there any truth in it?
It's been diagnosed in one man, and 2 others are showing symptoms.
Well, have you spoken to the medical officer?
Oh, yes. He's ordered their quarters fumigated with sulfur dioxide and their clothes deloused with pyrethrum.
Clothes? Have you seen their rags? They're disgusting.
Yes, I'm glad they're nothing to do with us.
Yes, well, if it spreads to the garrison troops, they will be very much to do with us.
I've sent off instructions to their Lagerführer that I should be informed of all developments. I also suggested he should notify Einsatzgruppe that it is in everybody's interest that the foreign workers should be hygienically housed and clothed.
Well, yes, of course.
He said they are the scum of Europe and should be treated as such.
In other words, keep out of it.
He said something rather odd. He asked how we knew about the outbreak.
What did you tell him?
I told him we'd heard a rumor from outside.
So?
He thought it might have come from Reinecke.
James,
Struck lucky, as you can see. Bring a couple of glasses, would you?
oughtn't we to keep it till tonight?
Oh, we should let it breathe a little. A couple of small glasses from the top will increase the surface area wonderfully.
What did the Germans want?
Rather odd, actually. They were asking about a chap from Riga. Steady on, are you all right?
Nothing broken. This man from Riga, it wasn't Colonel Artachevsky.
Well, a very strange question. No, it wasn't, as it happened, but, why do you ask? Miss White's not half bad.
This is why I asked.
What? Good God.
Yes, you're coming along nicely.
Yes, I haven't had that sharp pain back again.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
I think you can go home tomorrow. Fluid seems to have cleared up. But you're going to have to be careful. Try not to be out in the bad weather. And keep as warm as you possibly can. Now, I'm giving you a certificate for the milk board. For extra milk.
Thank you, Doctor.
But it's for you, not the rest of your family. Understand?
Yes, Doctor.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes, Doctor.
You've got a bicycle by any chance?
In Poland, we knew war was inevitable, and I was recalled to my regiment. But just before the Germans invaded, I was posted to GHQ, Field Intelligence. It took just 14 days for the German panzers to roll us up like a carpet. So we moved south to Kolomaya. 2 days later, the Russians invaded us too. So HQ moved over the border into Romania, where we were interned. And when we saw it was only a matter of time before the Romanians handed us over to the Germans, some of us, decided to escape back into Poland and go north to the Baltic. I got as far as Stettin. Took me 6 weeks, walking, traveling in buses, avoiding patrols. In Stettin, I waited for 4 days for a boat sailing to Oslo, from where I hoped to voyage to Britain. The mate on the ship hid me beneath sacks in the food store. Just before we were to sail, the police came on board. They came straight to where I was.
The mate?
A communist. I was one small step to what he wanted. And he took it.
And then?
Berlin. When I was questioned quite often and forcibly, they'd found my army records and knew what I'd been in Riga.
What we all had been in Riga.
I told them what was the truth, that I was military attaché in Riga and knew nothing of importance. That my time in Latvia had been spent on purely formal occasions. And social engagements.
Did they believe you?
It was the truth.
But not the entire truth.
What is in life?
And then?
They refused to treat me as a prisoner of war on the grounds that I'd been captured after my country had capitulated. They said I'd broken my parole in Romania and was a criminal and would be sent to a labor camp. First I was at Boulogne building coastal defenses, then at Le Havre, and then I was sent here.
How have they treated you?
Worse than you can imagine.
Well, what are your plans?
They mustn't get him back.
No, of course not. But we shall need help.
He must stay here.
Yes, but he can't stay in hiding forever. He will need identity papers, a ration card.
I know who'll help.
Got my first bicycle softening.
Oh, good. Only leaves 149 more to get her. Where'd you get it?
There's someone at the hospital.
A patient?
Yeah, he's an old chap, getting over pneumonia.
That sounds a bit unfeeling.
Well, what do you mean? He's not going to need it for at least a couple of months.
This war's making you hard.
No, just practical. Well, it's not as though I'm actually putting him down to get his blinking back. Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Oh, what a disgraceful thing to say.
More recipes.
Yes, I'm copying them out for the Women's Institute.
Good for you. What's a Christmas dish?
Vermicelli, breadcrumbs, mixed herbs.
Oh, Christmas was supposed to be a season of good cheer. What luckless person's going to get that?
You, for one.
Roll on, Lent.
Oh, well?
Good heavens.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, he means that you're looking rather super, isn't that right, darling?
Absolutely right. Very super.
Oh, good. Well, it's going to take us over half an hour to walk there. And you haven't even changed yet.
Oh, it's not formal, is it?
No. But Lady P always likes Daddy to look nice.
Oh.
Come in. You wish to see me, Herr Commandant?
Oh, yes, Reinecker. I don't think you're much affected, but I'm issuing this.
I don't quite understand. No contact with the foreign labor force?
That's right.
Who has authorized this order?
As local head of Field Command 515, I have.
It cannot apply to me, Herr Major.
It certainly applies to you and every member of the German military forces.
I shall get on to SS headquarters in Paris.
Reinecker! What is the matter with you? We are concerned with a dangerous and infectious disease.
What?
Typhus. Among the taut organization workers over at Perel Bay. Now, until they've been deloused and their quarters cleansed, they are not to be approached. They will be confined to their camp until the medical officer is satisfied the risk is over. Why do you object to such basic and sensible measures, Reinecker?
Sorry, Herr Major, I misunderstood.
Der Lagerführer thought you might have known. I take it you did not.
Of course not.
The organization tote run their own affairs without reference to us. Much like the SS.
Here we are. Thank you, sir.
Party, just like old times.
Not quite.
Well, we must do the best we can.
Good heavens.
Try one, I dare you.
Actually.
The tin was getting rusty.
I think it's cold enough. Time was I'd have put it in the fridge, but who needs a fridge these days?
Well, it doesn't seem cold in here.
Ah, but you've got youth on your side, my boy.
If you got out and about a bit more, it would help.
Oh, I see him around, cutting a very spry figure. Thank you.
He spends far too much time stuck away in his study.
You're writing a book, aren't you, sir? Oh, more a monograph, really. the meaning of diplomacy.
Well, I suppose we're in the middle of a prime example of it, or rather the lack of it.
Oh, I don't know. Wasn't it Clausewitz who said that war is the continuation of a policy by other means?
A typically German attitude.
And talking of war, I'd like a word with you.
Yeah?
A little later on.
Well, now, I'm delighted you could all come. Dennis and Tanya Mansell will be along later, I hope.
Good.
I don't know if any of you have done amateur dramatics before.
Well...
James and I started a group in Latvia, a very cosmopolitan assembly of talents. English was spoken with more assorted accents than you'd have believed possible.
God knows what would have happened if we'd been asked to act in Polish or in German.
Oh, don't take any notice of James. He only ever got to play butlers.
Ah, yes, sir, but that's because I had a very splendid garden party tailcoat, you see.
Well, your luck's in. There's a butler in the play I've selected as our first venture.
Yes, I'm not at all surprised.
Aren't we getting ahead of ourselves just
Now,
a bit?
Philip.
I mean, if we're actually giving performances, it could be difficult. An emergency might arise.
There's no use trying to play hard to get. We'll give you an understudy.
What's the play?
A most amusing piece by Ivan Novello called Fresh Fields.
I know that. Didn't we see that in London?
In that theatre in Piccadilly?
Yes. What was he called?
The Apollo.
That's in Shaftesbury Avenue.
What do they all call those theatres? I never remember.
A Criterion.
Criterion, that's the one.
It's about a rich Australian family who come over here and are introduced to high society by an impecunious but aristocratic English family.
Yeah, there's somebody in it called Lady Lillian Bedworthy.
Oh, I wonder who's going to play her. Peter, you can play the young, good-looking but languid son, Tim. Typecast. Philip, you're Tom Larkham, who used to run a pub in Brisbane.
Oh, but I can't do an Australian accent.
You can run a pub, though.
I'm sure you'll do it very well. Ollie.
Really, make the most extraordinary.
Ollie, you're Lady Mary Crabbe, a sensible, practical person.
Oh, that sounds
and
good.
Claire,
Oh, Crabbe.
you're Una, the clumsy Australian daughter.
Typecast.
I've given Una's vulgar mum to Tanya Mansell.
Well, I'm sure she'll be charmed.
Yeah, she'll probably give it back.
And Lillian Bedworthy?
Me, darling. James is old Ludlow the butler. Now, look, I've only got one French's acting edition, so you'll have to gather round and look at the set. Come on, all of you. I've typed out your parts individually, so there'll be no difficulty there. Now, here we
So look
are.
at all this. Here, Lady Mary Crabbe. That's
That's
you.
all. Yes, yes.
Lady Mary Crabbe. That's a good one.
Now, perhaps you'd all like to look at the set. You see, there's a chandelier here. I hope that's not going to be a great...
Colonel Archichesky, Dr. Philip Martel.
Oh, Dr. Martel, I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
I'm sorry to keep you so long. I'll see you in the mess.
Herr Commandant. Herr Commandant. About the typhus outbreak.
Spread to the troops.
No.
What then?
Their Lagerfuhrer has just informed us. They have one man missing, and he's a typhus contact.
Oh, they'll be looking for you.
They cannot have known when I broke away.
Oh, they'll search all along the route.
Then I must hope that when they get here, they do not find me.
Yeah, for your sake and the Preda's.
Oh, thank you. I think we should join the others.
Yeah, James, tomorrow I'll get onto the Essential Commodities Committee to see about a substitute ration book for him.
Substitute?
Yeah, for the one he lost.
Yes, but they want to see his identity card.
Of course.
Well?
Well, they're printed by the local press. I'll see if I can get a photographer up here first thing.
I see.
Listen, could you tell them I'm on the phone or something? It won't be a minute.
Yes, but why?
I want a word with our friend. You feeling all right?
Pardon?
Well, apart from being half-starved and exhausted, you feel all right? Any malaise or headaches?
No.
How many of you are there?
About 50.
You in huts or what?
In huts, yes, there are 4.
You segregated from the local community?
We are segregated by barbed wire and Alsatian dogs. To what purpose is your question?
Now, bear with me. What happens when any of you get sick?
If one cannot work, one does not eat. It guarantees good health.
Yes, but there must be a case.
If one dies, one dies.
Has there been any sickness recently?
Oh, 2 days ago, one man was ill.
What happened to him?
He was sent to the main camp on Alderney.
Can you describe his symptoms?
He became feverish, unable to stand.
You saw this yourself?
He was in my hut.
Didn't notice if he had a rash, did you?
His wrists had red blotches.
Your clothes, the ones you were wearing.
Diana took them.
Mary crosses behind table to the fireplace.
Oh, do you want me to do it now?
Let's go on. Oh, James, get off the
Sorry,
stage.
I beg your pardon.
Sorry, James. I thought we were...
Right, now, enter Lillian Centre. Oh, thank heavens they've gone.
You made a nice exhibition of yourself.
I go to the sofa. A very natural mistake.
Oh, don't be grand.
I'm not being grand. Sits. What a dreadful young woman, and that mother.
Well, I rather liked them.
What are you doing?
I don't see that.
No, darling, I'm not saying a line. What are you doing with your hands?
Oh, yes, I see. I'm arranging the flowers. Above table right, it says.
I see. What were they doing here?
Friends of Jim's, Australians.
Ah.
What do you mean, ah?
Just ah.
Ah.
Good heavens.
Oh, be quiet, James. You're not on yet. Tim, enter centre. Pretend to close the double doors, Peter.
Mind your fingers.
You've got nice friends, you have. What was all the screaming?
Go on.
No, yes. Just laughter, dear. It does sound a bit strange in this house, doesn't it?
Now, I made a small cut here. The door bursts open centre and Una appears.
Oh, that's closed.
Now, she comes to behind the sofa.
I'm so sorry. I left my muff.
Darling, Una's an Australian, remember?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait a minute. I take my front stool down right.
Down right is there.
Down right. And crossing to Una, he downs. Is this it?
Thanks. I'm always leaving things about. Thanks so much, Toodaloo.
Oh, that's good.
And she rushes out of the door.
What a frightful girl.
Where's Philip?
Olive.
Sorry.
No, right, what a frightful girl.
Not so frightful. Anyhow, you'd better get used to her. And her mother. And her uncle.
Why?
They're coming to live here.
To live?
Mother, she's fainted.
I'll bring her round.
And she does so by advancing on Lillian, raises her hand to slap her hard as the curtain falls to the end of the first act. Now, Olive, you realise you don't really hit.
Well, I wouldn't really.
You just raise your
You
hand.
and I must have a talk.
Squash there. On the other side of the door when Claire comes in.
And if they haven't found him by this evening, I shall insist that we take part in the search. Come in.
Good morning. Good morning, Herr Commandant.
Good morning.
The missing OT worker. The typhus contact.
Well?
I know where he is.
It's a notifiable disease with a high mortality rate, especially in a rundown population.
Well, Diana has burnt all his clothes.
The chap should be in quarantine.
Of course. But that's impossible under the circumstances.
James, doesn't it strike you as a pretty remarkable coincidence that the chap you first knew in Latvia should end up in your woodshed on Guernsey?
No, coincidences do happen, otherwise there wouldn't be a name for them.
Yes, doesn't it also strike you as a bit odd that so far there appears to have been no search for him? especially in view of the fact that he's a known typhus contact. You'd have thought the whole island would be turned upside down.
Yes, you would. Unless there's something behind all this. I'm beginning to wonder.
There is something, isn't there, James? What is it?
Yesterday, I was sent for by the Germans.
Why?
Well, I think I should tell you, Philip, that my work in the Foreign Service was not quite what it seemed to be. I had other responsibilities besides arranging trade receptions. Now, I think all this could be connected with that.
Go on.
Before the war, the Baltic states were a hotbed of intrigue. Poles, emigre Russians, a large German element. Now, Riga, in particular, was a center for intelligence operations. Early in 1935, I recruited a German cipher clerk working in the Oberkommando of the Wehrmacht Communication Center in Königsberg, East Prussia. Much vital information was passed by this man, and then the Abwehr, German military intelligence, became suspicious.
By withholding knowledge of this man's whereabouts, you have put at risk the entire community.
But, Herr Commandant, with respect, I didn't know that he was a typhus contact.
You knew yesterday. If this disease spreads, I will have you recalled. What is more, my Friedel informs me that you have been plotting with the organization Tut. It's time you explained.
I'm not sure that I'm empowered to explain.
Reinecke, if you do not explain yourself, I will have you arrested.
It concerns Gestapo inquiries into the pre-war intelligence activities of Sir James Prideaux.
Thank you. Now it concerns me.
In 1935, it was suspected by the Abwehr that Prideaux had recruited one of the cipher experts from the Army Communications Center in Königsberg. An agent was sent to keep him under surveillance, but before he could report in detail, he was knocked down by a car.
An accident?
No, it's thought unlikely. Shortly afterwards, Prideaux was recalled to London, the codes were changed, and the Abwehr decided there was insufficient reason for further concern.
In that case, what is there left to investigate?
However, very recently, an unrelated Gestapo inquiry has indicated that a spy did in fact exist in 1935 and is still in contact with the enemy.
But how can all this be known?
Feedback from sources in London suggests our codes are being read.
Good God.
Do you think that Sir James Prideaux knows who that man is?
Exactly, Herr Commandant.
How does your missing OT worker get involved in this?
Whilst Prideaux was under surveillance, it was observed that his wife was conducting a liaison with the Polish military attaché, Colonel Artichevsky. SS headquarters in Paris traced this man to an OT camp on the French coast. He was interviewed and sent here.
For what reason?
To escape and seek refuge with the Prideaux. It was calculated that the wife would hide him, and a serious offense such as harboring an escaped prisoner would enable us to arrest him, charge him, and send him to Germany.
For questioning by the Gestapo? Poor fellow.
Why would the Polish colonel concur in this entrapment?
It was either that or concentration camp.
What a very dirty business.
It's war.
Seems to me you're in very grave danger.
Not in Guernsey.
Anywhere else and you'd disappear from sight until they got what they wanted out of you.
Yes, but they can't get me away from here against my will, unless...
Unless there's a serious breach of the law?
Exactly.
It's a trap.
Could be, yes.
Well, you've got to hand Artichevsky over before it's too late.
I can't.
What?
I can't because of Diana.
What do you mean?
Artichevsky was Diana's lover.
Good God. You sure?
Yes.
Does Diana know that you know?
No.
What's the matter with you, man? You've still got to hand him over.
I have nothing but loathing for him, but I cannot betray him. I cannot do the right thing for the wrong reason.
When do you propose to arrest Sir James Prideaux?
Immediately. With your permission, of course, Herr Commandant.
Very well.
You should be in quarantine. That would mean giving yourself up. It's a trap, isn't it?
You know.
I think James knows too.
Will he hand me over?
Oh, no.
Why not? If he knows it is a betrayal.
It isn't the first time you've betrayed him, is it? Only before it was with his wife.
He knows.
Well, that's why he won't tell them. He has a fastidious conscience. Goodbye.
My sister and I were not... No. My sister and I were not unattractive at our presentation. Hello, darling. At our presentation. Well, what's the matter?
I think old James Prideaux is in very serious trouble.
Oh, but yesterday...
Today, the past has caught up with him.
Where's your husband?
He's gone for a walk.
All right, where is he?
I already told
Not
you.
your husband.
Good morning, Hartman Ranniger.
Good morning, Sir James. We've been looking for you.
Oh, really? May I ask why?
I warned you yesterday you would hear more of this matter. You're under arrest.
For doing what?
Harboring an escaped prisoner.
May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, James Prideaux here. Yes, he is.
Ranniger? What?
The Polish colonel has let you down. His body has been found at the foot of the cliffs at Plenmont Point.
Your Polish lover has killed himself.